Hello and welcome back to the WhichBookie YouTube channel. Just myself for this episode, covering some of the action from Sunday, the 14th of September. We've had 3 brilliant days in Doncaster. We're moving on to their 4th day of the festival, which is probably less of a quality in-depth card, but a couple of interesting horses, I think, at these early stages. And then we've got the Curragh, 2nd day of the Irish Champions Festival weekend. There's some really good, interesting races there. So I'm going to give you guys my early thoughts. As always, though, the final selections and what we fancy can be found at the link in the description at whichbookie.co.uk. Myself and Will, whenever we fancy a horse, it will be on that website, so we can find out what we fancy on there. Without further ado, though, I'm going to go through Doncaster's card fairly quickly. There's not anything of major interest in every single race. That could change. I'll do a bit more work this evening, recording this on Saturday, early afternoon. The first horse that was of actual interest for me in the races at Doncaster, it's a good looking race as well, the City of Doncaster handicap, the 230. Now there's a couple of horses in here that I've fancied at times in the past. So Back in Black is one of them. I thought this horse last time was going to be arguably a good thing at Goodwood last time out. Now arrives here fresh, one last time off of a break, but also one off of a turnaround recently. Let's say recently, like the summer of last year. So it's not that long ago. Ran fresh, got beat, and then won the time after. Did win fresh at the start of the season. Then ran all right at Goodwood. Probably wasn't really ridden too hard or too aggressively, which is fine. It's off the same market, so I do think that Back in Black is a serious contender. I think the price about the horse is fair as well. Another horse I kind of liked last time was Angel Hunter for Richard Hannon. I think the 5th behind Hickory last time out isn't bad form. I know it's getting poo-pooed a little bit, but this ground won't be soft like it was last time at Ascot. And while the horse handles ease in the ground, do also think that the horse will be fine on better ground, or might be able to run a bit better on there. So look, the time of recording, Back in Black's a top price 8 to 1 and bottom price 5 to 1. The 5 to 1 wouldn't necessarily tempt me, but 7 or 8 to 1, maybe even bigger if that possibly happens, would interest me. Angel Hunter's 25 to 1 top price, 14 to 1 bottom price. So again, big price might tempt me, lower price possibly wouldn't. There's your early thoughts if you're thinking of sticking a couple of quid on early doors. It's 8 to 1 with Paddy Power. He's the top price is in there. Bottom price is 5 to 1 with Ladbrokes. Corals for Back in Black. So that's one of the races at Doncaster where, like I said, got a bit of an opinion, and we might find a bet in there. Some nice racing across the rest of it. The Skepta Stakes and the 410 looks real deep to me. There's loads of horses I think you could make a solid case for in there. So that looks a trappy enough event to be betting in, but it looks like a race definitely well worth watching. The remaining card at Doncaster, there are potential betting opportunities in there, but at this early stage I haven't found anything that's worth mentioning anyway. Onto the Curragh though, they've got so many good races. The weather could change a little bit. There's some storms are brewing over Sunday evening into Monday. Depends how the wind moves, if any of that comes in a bit sooner. But as it stands at the moment, it's yielding over there at the Curragh. And I don't think it's going to get any slower over the sort of foreseeable future for Sunday's card. So look, I'll be a bit on weather watch. That's why selections go up at 8 o'clock the morning of the race can be beneficial. But there's a couple of races where I am interested in looking at stuff. The auction sales race will be one for watching for sure. There'll be some good horses in there. I'm interested to see how Al Parsan for Carl Burt gets on. And I also liked the look of By the Lake as well, the Joe Lyons horse, but they're towards the front of the market. I wouldn't want to necessarily have a bet in the race, but we definitely want to watch. In the Moyglare Stud Stakes, the Group 1 for fillies, the 240. Good looking race, this one beautifies in a second favourite of the Aidan O'Brien horses anyway, a 6 to 1. Composing 6 to 4 with Christophe Soumillon on board. Sets the standard. Course and distance winner, knows the horse that we know likes this sort of trip. Venetian Sun's in here though, a horse I tipped up at Royal Ascot, is still got an unblemished record, 4 from 4. Yet to confirm that the horse definitely stays 7 furlong. I need to do a tiny bit of work on pedigree and look at some race time stuff to see if I can maybe give myself some confirmation that the horse will stay, because I think Venetian Sun's a better horse than Composing. But at this trip, if Venetian Sun does have a question mark around it, it does temper your enthusiasm slightly. But that said, if I can find some evidence to suggest that there isn't any reason to worry about that, then maybe the 15 to 8 is going to be tempting enough to be a bet. So I'm trying to make the case that Venetian Sun will like the trip. The runs before at shorter trips, she has stayed on nicely and strong at the line. It's hard to always tell, but I want to try and see if I can find some evidence to suggest that she will. And if there's a chance that she might even improve for this trip, then she's already the best horse of the race as far as I'm concerned. So interesting looking one there. If she was sort of 3-4 to 1, you just take the chance. I hope she stays. When she's about 15 to 8, I think I need to put a bit more work into it. The Flying 5 Stakes after the Group 1, 3:15. Now, Bradsell did the double last year. As 4 is the one that's looking to do it this time out. And what I will say about Ascot is I was fuming last month with not tipping her up. I tipped up Arizona Blaze in that race. And Arizona Blaze ran all right, but it's probably his worst run for a very long time. Asphora ran the best race, and Asphora had been sort of teed up for the race, had perfect conditions, the good to firm ground was going to suit, had a lovely draw. So yeah, I was ruining the prices in there. However, in this instance, the prices have sort of swapped around. Asphora is 7-2 at the time of recording, Arizona Blaze is 10-1. Arizona Blaze is a course and distance winner, and was obviously sent off favourite last time, just didn't run the race. Now, is there reasons to suggest that could change? Well, yes, because the ground's not going to be as fast as it was last time, and that is clearly as bad as Arizona Blaze has ever run. You'd be concerned maybe in terms of form, but you can forgive any horse one run, especially in sprint sort of trips. I know I did that with Lady Imam, and she went out like a light again, so I'm sort of cautionary about this, but around about 10-1 with some places up for grabs. I'm thinking on the lines of Arizona Blaze at the moment. There's loads of good horses in this race though. Magira, Dream, like I know Dream's like a 66-1 prep, but there's back pieces of form where this horse has done bits in the past. Bucanera Forte, the other Ammo Racing runner in it, Art Power, like there's loads of good horses in this race. I've not even mentioned all of them. Whistle Jacket's there, first time blinkers. Like it's a deep race. I want to see if I can actually make the case again for Arizona Blaze, so we'll see that. The Vincent O'Brien National Stakes. I think Aidan O'Brien obviously has loads of runners in this every year, but I think of quite a few times other trainers have won this. So we've got Saba Desert for Charlie Appleby, North Coast for Joseph O'Brien. Maybe the two that I'd be trying to again make some sort of case for. Saba Desert I do quite like. Just need to again do some work in there. We've got Zavaretti as well, the Eve Johnson Horton horse, which again unblemished record, looks like a nice type. So I'd probably want to try and find something to beat the Aidan O'Brien contingent in there. I do like Gustad, but did get beat last time. I don't know where the bet might be in there, but that's the way I'm looking at that particular race, just for what it's worth. In the Irish St. Leger itself, Illinois, first time cheat pieces on there. I think Illinois is the best horse in the race, in my opinion. Amalok getting the weight is hard to ignore. Big break, 86 days coming into this race. So again, I need to do a bit more work on it, but when I'm seeing 5-2 about Illinois, ran really well last time, Han Scandinavia. 2 miles was just a little bit too far for the horse. Dropping back to 1 mile 6, Scandinavia was well fancy for the British St. Leger. We'll see how that form works out, but I wouldn't really have too much bearing on the English St. Leger and the form of Scandinavia into this race. We know Illinois can be a bit of a dog at times, but he's going to be right up there. He traded short last time as well, and I think the same will be true here. So 5-2 about him, for me, I feel like he's going to be a horse that I probably will think about chancing. There's a Group 2 filly and mare stays after this one. Red Letter, One Look are both really nice horses in there, but there's other horses as well with a bit of depth behind them. So hard one to have some real hard and fast confidence at this stage is what I would say. And then the handicaps, I haven't had the chance to properly get stuck into at the Curragh, but we'll have a look to see what we can find there. So they're the early thoughts for Sunday. Really appreciate your guys' support on the channel. Lots of good content coming up with the jump season around the corner. And like I say, these are our early thoughts of the races. So look, we might put you onto a few winners. Maybe that a few of our decisions change. That's why it's important to check that WhichBookie.co.uk link in the description for our final selections. We'll be back with more of this type of content throughout the rest of the year and going through the jump season. But that WhichBookie.co.uk website will always be the place where the tips are posted. So just check that every single day and you can find out what we fancy. Thanks again for your support. Have a very good Sunday. If you're having a go on anything, enjoy the racing most importantly, and we will see you again very soon.